picture. For the next 5 minutes, I'm in control.
Excuse me, but since this is a Two-Face video, I decided to barge in. When you're dealing with Two-Face, you gotta have two origins anyway. So stay tuned for a second one narrated by me later in the video.
Our story begins in Gotham City. Harvey Dent was born into a life of hardship. He grew up in a lower-class family, and his father raised Harvey to distrust the upper class. His father was a very violent and cruel man who was thought to be bipolar and mentally unstable. As a child, Harvey was under strict rule and was frequently beaten. His father often left the fate of Harvey's beatings to the flip of a coin. Many years later, Harvey's hard work ethic allowed him to rise above his past. Harvey became a reputable lawyer and eventually the district attorney of Gotham City. Years later, there was a mystery unfolding in Gotham City. A serial killer who only killed on holidays was under investigation. This murderer became known as Holiday. Captain Jim Gordon and District Attorney Harvey Dent were headlining this mysterious case, and in the shadows, so was Batman.
Who is Holiday, and who's next?
At this time, Batman was inexperienced in fighting crime and sought to uncover the killer's identity. The main suspects in this case were members of the infamous and powerful Falcone family. During a Falcone family wedding, Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent were attending. Although they were not there to celebrate but to investigate. Carmine held a private discussion with Bruce, trying to convince him into a business deal with Wayne Enterprises. Meanwhile, Harvey Dent was in the basement of the Romans' home, copying down the license plate numbers of various cars. As Harvey is almost finished, he is suddenly attacked from behind, then warned to stop investigating. Later that night, Harvey meets up with Jim Gordon to discuss the case. They both begin to open up about the mutual strains put on their marriages by their long hours at work. Harvey's wife Gilda was a very kind woman who loved her husband more than anything. While she supported her husband's career, Harvey would usually come home very late and was often mentally absent trying to crack his latest case.
Once I take him out, things are gonna be different. We can start a family.
Gilda was ready to start a family with Harvey, although his career was adding stress to their marriage. Jim and Harvey are soon interrupted by Batman, who emerges from the shadows. As the three discuss the lengths they will go to bring the Roman down, they agree to bend the rules if necessary, but never break them. On Halloween, Johnny Vitti is shot twice in the head by an unknown assailant. The perpetrator leaves behind the murder weapon, .22 caliber pistol with a homemade silencer, as well as a jack-o'-lantern. That night, Batman along with Gordon and Dent discuss the murder, and Dent lets it be known that he feels no empathy for the death of a hitman. Dent cheerfully returns home to help his wife Gilda give out candy to trick-or-treaters. But as he is rummaging through his mail, a bomb suddenly destroys their house in seconds. Harvey and Gilda barely survived the attack, and Harvey quickly became obsessed with this case. For months afterward, the holiday killings continue with little evidence or leads. As the murders waged on, an assistant was brought in to help Dent with the case. His name was Vernon Wells. Vernon was secretly working with Maroney and kept a very close eye on Harvey. Harvey and Gilda soon moved into a new house, although not much had changed in their marriage. Dent's work never left him, and Gilda continued to express her desire for a family. As the murders continue, other criminals begin to join in to discover the identity of this mysterious killer. This also caused a gang war to break out between these infamous crime families. The streets of Gotham had never been so dangerous. The long-awaited trial had finally begun, on which Maroney was to testify against the Roman. As Harvey is about to leave the court, Gilda stops him. She is disturbed by something she has found in the basement. She discovered a handgun on his workbench, just like the weapon found in the murders. Dent claims that it's simply evidence he brought home from work, ignoring Gilda's surprise as he leaves.
Please rise, court is now in session.
At the courtroom, Vernon meets Maroney at the door to give him stomach medicine for his ulcer. As this crime lord takes the stand, Dent is optimistic and convinced that this will finally end organized crime in Gotham. Once under oath, Maroney admits to killing 2 members of another crime family, a mob operating in Metropolis. Although Dent wanted more, so he inquires if the Roman ordered the hit. Maroney then begins to cough and choke, making the entire courtroom suspicious. Maroney then reaches for his stomach medicine and suddenly hurls it in Dent's face. Harvey falls to the floor screaming, revealing this wasn't medicine, it was acid. The court is immediately halted, and Harvey is rushed to the hospital. Although he wasn't there long, as he quickly stabs a nurse and escapes. As of Labor Day, Dent has been missing for over a month, and it was rumored that he has been hiding out in Gotham's sewers. As Batman and Gordon had been searching for Harvey, they were also investigating him as a new suspect. As Batman entered Dent's home, he began to search the house and eventually finds something suspicious. He found metal shavings on Dent's workbench, as if he had removed serial numbers from a weapon. Gilda was interrogated about his findings, although she had no explanation. Gordon was convinced that Harvey was responsible, while Batman held out hope for their friend. He still believed that Harvey was a man who believed in justice and order. After some time, it was revealed that Alberto Falcone was directly involved with the holiday killings. While most of the evidence checked out for his case, he seemed overconfident, and some details weren't completely making sense. On Halloween, Jim and Barbara Gordon go to visit Gilda to check up on her. Gilda was alone and still left wondering where Harvey is, and if he is even still alive. Meanwhile at Arkham, there has been a breakout. Some of the most dangerous criminals have been set free by a mysterious figure, who was last seen flipping a coin. Soon after, the Roman's house had been invaded by some of Arkham's most deadly. It was then revealed that their mysterious leader was Harvey Dent. As Dent prepares to kill Falcone, Batman suddenly drops in and takes down these villains one by one. Batman tries to appeal to Dent to let the Roman go, although Dent tells him he isn't Harvey anymore, he is now Two-Face. After arguing about justice, he then decides to leave this man's fate at the flip of a coin. Two-Face then shoots the Roman twice in the head. Later that night, Dent seemed to have come to his senses and turned himself in. Two-Face claims that justice has been done now that he has killed the Roman. As Gordon cuffs Two-Face, he then explains that there is in fact two holiday killers. While Alberto was thought to be responsible for some of the holiday killings, it is thought that he was looking to become infamous for these crimes. While the identity of the real killer is thought to be Harvey Dent. Sometime later, Gilda is packing up boxes for her move away from Gotham. Before she leaves, she takes a box down to the basement. Inside, the furnace burns all of the evidence from the holiday murders. As she leaves, she claims that she took it upon herself to start the holiday killings, to put a stop to the organized crime in Gotham. She hoped this would lighten Harvey's work, so that they could finally start a family. Gilda remains hopeful for their future and will always believe in Harvey.
Once I take him out, things are gonna be different. We can start a family.
Harvey Dent was one of Gotham's most successful citizens, and his fall from grace shook the city. This sent Gotham into a chaos that the city could never recover from.
The only way to get by in this place is to get ourselves some respect. Beer. That's how we get respect. Show them all that we do
Harvey is thought to suffer from a unique form of bipolar outbreaks that have been suppressed for years.
If anyone's leaving, it's Mr. Goody-Good.
And maybe you with them.
Did I do this? All of you out.
Throughout the years, Two-Face continued his crimes in Gotham, quickly becoming one of the most powerful and influential crime lords in the city. Two-Face's crimes were usually stopped by his former partner in justice. These two continued to have a troubled history, and Two-Face quickly became known as one of Batman's most illustrious villains. He is one of Gotham's most intelligent criminals and has pulled off some of Gotham's most impressive crimes.
Heads, not tails. Man or monster.
Our story begins in Gotham City. Harvey Dent was one of the greatest defense attorneys in the city, capable of getting even the most guilty crook off the hook. Due to this skill, he was hired as the personal lawyer of the McKillen crime family, led by twins Aaron and Shannon McKillen. Harvey performed his duty well and helped the McKillens stay out of any legal trouble. That is, until they went too far. One day, the Twisted Twins sent assassins after Commissioner James Gordon himself, even disregarding the fact he was with his family. After the hit failed, the twins came to Harvey and demanded his loyal assistance as always. However, upon hearing the story, Harvey refused. He could put up with a lot, but not attempted murder on the police commissioner, especially not with Gordon's wife and child in the crossfire. The McKillens had crossed the line, and Harvey wanted nothing to do with them anymore. That they could not have, however. They made it clear that Dent was in the family to stay. Harvey was trapped. That is, until his old friend Bruce Wayne made him an offer. Run for district attorney instead, which Bruce would back. Bruce recognized Harvey's impressive legal skills and felt they would be better used against criminals instead. Harvey thought about it and eventually decided to take Bruce's offer. He ran for DA and won with a landslide. His first act as DA? Taking down the McKillen crime family. This he did with the aid of Gordon and Batman. Harvey made sure the McKillen twins were put away for life. Now he was finally rid of their looming threat. Right? Wrong. After several failed appeals, the sisters made a pact. They would escape prison at all costs, even if it meant one of them had to die. And so it was. One night in her cell, Shannon hanged herself. With the help of a crooked guard, Erin then took her place in the morgue, and this way escaped the facility. With goons in tow, Erin then made her way to Harvey's apartment. It was time for payback. First, she stabbed Harvey's wife, Gilda, right in the heart with a letter opener, killing her. Harvey valiantly tried to fight back, but was eventually knocked out. Erin then proceeded to tie him to a table, and when he woke up, poured acid all over half of his face. This way, Erin reasoned, the whole world would see how two-faced he was. Distraught at the murder of his beloved Gilda and horrified by his own disfigurement, Harvey Dent became the bitter and desperate criminal known as Two-Face. He channeled all of his hatred to strike back at anyone he deemed deserving of his wrath, whether they were guilty or not. It was up to a marred, two-headed coin from his coin collection to decide their fate. And naturally, he waited for the right time to get his much-desired revenge on Erin McKillen. But that is a story for another time.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
With his expert knowledge of navigating the law and his natural leadership, Two-Face is considered to be one of the most infamous crime lords of all time.
We should be fair, though. This is a place of justice, after all. Screw justice. Kill her, and they'll all fear us.
Thanks for having me in this video, Comic Origins. And remember, check out my channel, Mr. Rogues, where Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.
Please like this video and subscribe for more unknown comic origins.